What is up, you guys? Pete Carlo here, and today we're going to talk about the stocks that I am watching for this week. These are more of investments that potentially have earnings coming up, and some of them could actually be some trades and some plays. Every single one of them has a catalyst coming up in the next week or maybe week and a half, and I want to go over them. I want to go over why I'm looking over them and just do a general quick little synopsis of the company and why I am bullish and or potentially bearish on the companies. But before we do that, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. It really helps this channel grow. I want to thank you guys so much. Over the past year, officially, we have been doing this. We're at like 3,300 subscribers, so it really does mean a lot to me. But let's get into it. So the first company that I am watching this week is going to be Boeing. So for those of you who do not know, Boeing is the world's largest aerospace and defense firm. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of what Boeing does is defense. And so even though they've had a lot of troubles with the 737 Maxes within the past couple of years, the defense side has been something that has really held up Boeing. I mean, Boeing was trading at like $97 to $100 a share, which is absolutely insane. Even with all the problems going on at the time and the height of the Roni, I was buying a lot of shares. So they're headquartered in Chicago, and the firm operates in 4 segments: commercial airplanes, defense, space, and security global services, and Boeing Capital. Boeing's commercial airplane segment produces 60% of the sales and 2/3 of the operating profit, and it competes against things such as Airbus in the production of aircrafts ranging from 130 seats upward. So the planes that they're talking about are massive, massive planes. It's not like they're selling private jets. They're strictly commercial for transporting a lot of people across the country and across the world. The defense segment produces about 25% of sales and 13% operating profit, respectively. Boeing's global services segment provides an aftermarket servicing to commercial and military aircrafts and produces about 15% of sales and 21% of operating profit. So like we did speak about, over the past couple of years, Boeing has really suffered. You can see that Boeing at one point was trading at $440 a share, and this initial fade that you could see that happened here was due to tariffs. We had some pretty major resistances around $400, and right now we are looking at a weekly chart. So this is not a chart to trade off of. This is a very, very long-term chart. Right now we're looking at the past 4 years. Now we did bounce between 400 and 360 and even 330 when we were going through the Chinese trade deal, when we were talking about all these tariffs that were going to be put in place. We didn't know how long this was going to be happening for. It seemed like towards December of 2019 that we were going to get some sort of first phase trade deal, and the market and overall Boeing in general was seeming to try to bounce and looking like we were going to start to get back up into the $400 range. Then we had the crash that happened. Unfortunately, there was 2 of them that sent Boeing stock tumbling. Basically, their main jet is called the 737 Max, and it was having an autopilot problem. I'm not going to get into the absolute specifics of everything within this video because we do have 2 other companies to look at, but that was a big problem. They actually suspended all of their jets, and they have not been running up until about a month ago, which is pretty crazy. So all of that time, they were not running. They were all, I think, banned everywhere in the world, which is pretty crazy. And on top of that, they were losing a lot of orders that were supposed to be within the backlog that were already done and over with, but people ended up backing out because of overall worries and concerns. But right now, I think Boeing finally kind of has this figured out. We did see, unfortunately, that over the past 2 weeks, another plane, a 737 Max, crashed. And that can obviously be problematic, but from what we've seen, it doesn't seem like it was the actual aircraft's fault. And unfortunately, people were killed there. So we did see a bit of a pullback in the past week, and as well, the overall market pulled back. But if I look at the next year to 3 years on Boeing, I think that they've solved the 737 Max problems. I think that we could see this stock slowly within the next year probably push back up to $300. One big thing about Boeing was the dividend. They have suspended it for now, but I think that it will probably be about 5 years before we get back up to that $440 price point. I could be dead wrong, could happen much sooner. But something that is important, and a reason why I'm watching it for this week, is because of their earnings, which will be happening on the 27th of January. And they're expecting a loss of $1.56. Last quarter, they actually had a loss of 79 cents. So they are expecting a worse loss than the last quarter. However, I think that what investors are going to be looking for is less about the physical numbers. I do think that they will beat that, but I think they're going to be more tuning in towards the outlook of where they think Boeing is going to be going, and kind of the outlook of the company, and hoping for some good news and for high spirits as well. For those of you who are investors, this doesn't matter, but from a trading standpoint, we do have a gap to fill up here to $260. We do have a nice little bull flag that is forming here, and even kind of a janky cup and handle. And currently right now, I am holding $10,000 worth of Boeing shares, and I will be holding these shares through earnings. I do think we're going to see a nice move up, and I may actually hold this probably for the next, depending upon how long I decide, probably for the next 2 to 3 months. You have to remember, a lot of what I do right now is trading. I actually don't have a ton of long-term investments put in place right now, simply because I am aggressively trading the markets right now, trying to build up my capital since I just bought another property. And my cash is depleted at this point. But Boeing is one that I'm watching and I'm excited about. Another one is JetBlue, and I really should just say, in general, like airline companies just in general. We saw Delta go on the Thursday. When did Delta go? Delta, let me check real quick. DAL. So Delta actually had their earnings. Let's see. Yeah, it was Thursday. So overall, they didn't have too terrible of earnings. I played United Airlines on that day, and in general, I'm watching the airlines. I put JetBlue here simply because, from a trading standpoint, there has been a ton of calls that have been coming into JetBlue. Big money is really betting big to the upside with JetBlue, and so that's why I specifically called this one out here. So for those of you who don't know what JetBlue is a airways corporation that is focused on low-cost airlines that offer high servicing and quality, including assigned seating, in-flight entertainment, carries over 1 million of their customers with an average more than 1,000 daily flights, serves about 99 destinations within the United States, the Caribbean, and Latin America. The company currently operates in Airbus 321s, Airbus 320s, and an Embraer E190 aircraft. I don't know what that last aircraft is. Overall, I do believe that we are going to see a good push in the airlines. We're seeing over the past couple of months, a lot more money is coming back into travel. A lot more money is coming back into airlines and back into these recovery type of companies. And you can see too, we actually, if we take a look as well over the daily chart from a trading perspective, we kind of have the same thing. We had a big gap to fill here on JetBlue. We pushed up, we hit 42. Now we have a nice bull flag that we're starting to break out of, and it seems like big money's buying into this rally. So I do think JetBlue is going to see a push here in the next couple of days. JetBlue actually already had earnings. I'm sorry. Not all of these companies have gone. So I think it was Delta, JetBlue, United Airlines is this week. I'm sorry. So JetBlue, I actually didn't even look into them. They estimated a loss of $2.50 and actually made a loss of $1.20. So not bad. But from a trading perspective, and in general as a sector, this is what I am watching for this week, and I think we could see a push up. The final stock that I am watching is going to be Apple. So everybody probably knows what Apple is, but I will throw out there and just do a quick little company breakdown and a company profile. So Apple designs a wide variety of consumer electronic devices, including smartphones, which is their iPhone, their tablet, the iPad, PCs, smartwatches, TV boxes, and among others. The iPhone makes up for the majority of the Apple's total revenue. In addition, Apple offers its customers a variety of services such as Apple Music, iCloud, Apple Care, Apple TV, Apple Arcade, Apple Card, Apple Pay, and among others, actually potentially even an Apple Car, which we'll talk about. Apple products run internally developed software and semiconductors, and the firm is well known for its integration of hardware and software services. Apple products are distributed online as well as through the company-owned stores and third-party realtors. The company generates roughly 40% of its revenue from the Americas alone, with their remainder earned internationally. We all know Apple. I've been making a lot of videos on this channel and my second channel about Apple. about how I see Apple pushing up to $140. We actually touched 140 like we had expected. But from a trading standpoint, we are holding at a very strong support around 125, 126. We do have a lot of buying pressure that's coming in from big money. If you guys don't know how to look at dark pools, how to look at option flows, I did make a video on Black Box. That's the tool that I use, and I will put the link down below. But overall, I think that within the next 2 weeks, we're going to see Apple push back up to $140. It may not be until earnings. Their earnings are January 27th, and they're estimated to do $1.40 earnings per share. So we'll see how things go, and this is going to be their big Q4. So that's going to be what happened, last year in Christmas, which is a huge quarter for tech, and not only tech in general, but just Apple. So overall, those are the companies that I am watching. Boeing, JetBlue, which is the airlines in general for this week, and Apple. I do think they are all going to have a bullish next couple of weeks. However, the market is starting to slow down. It is seeming like a lot of investors are starting to get a little weary going into Q1 2021. We have the inauguration coming up this week. We have tech earnings, which are huge. Like, you guys got to realize when it comes to earnings, I'm going to make more videos this week. Fundamentally, that is when we get to look at a company and say, is this a good investment, right? What are the numbers? How have they been doing, especially during this Rona, the first Q4 since we've had this Rona and the shutdown and everything. So these are all extremely important. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys next time, and let me know what you are watching. Peace.